Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on where you are in the world. And welcome to today's talk, which is New Healthcare Opportunities in Tech-Friendly Colombia. It is my pleasure to be joined today by Ricardo Pedroza, who is director at ProColombia, an entity which promotes foreign investment and non-traditional exports in Colombia. ProColombia will be joined by 5 healthcare companies at FIME here in Miami. And of course, anyone watching this, you can visit them in person. So welcome, Ricardo.
Thank you, Matty, for the invitation, and I'm very happy to be here with you today.
Fantastic. Okay, let's begin with the first question. So let's take a step back and look at the general healthcare context in Colombia. So what are the key opportunities for international healthcare businesses and investors in the Colombian market? In other words, what is Colombia's investment story as regards healthcare?
Okay, we have a lot to share regarding this topic. Let me tell you that investors find Colombia very competitive health systems. As you may know, or the audience may know, if not, I'm clarifying that today, Colombia has 96% of universal coverage of the population. So it's a very efficient system on that way. We have very good medical talent, which allows us to offer high complexity and quality health services in aspects such as cardiology or cancer or ophthalmology, just to mention some. So Colombia today is recognized as a leader in medical services. Is one of the most attractive countries for investment. And just to share you also another number, we have more than 320,000 professionals in this sector, plus competitive costs, plus salaries, which are really a competitive advantage for investments, because you can get treatments to foreign patients, for example, with cost close to 60% compared to other regions or services in the region. So we have on one side the competitive costs, good quality stuff, and also we have a competitive free trade zone regime. So with this, we have tax incentives. We have close to 17 trade agreements to access in the country, with access to 1.6 billion consumers in the world, 96% of the Americas. So there's a lot of things coming together that make Colombia attractive for investors and for the sector.
Thanks. There's something that you said that's interesting. So you mentioned foreign patients just now, and I was going to ask you this later in our conversation, but we might as well bring it forward. It's medical tourism. So as I understand it, Colombia was, and I quote, considered the prime medical tourism destination for the Caribbean and Ecuador before the pandemic. And of course, the pandemic has changed everything, including international travel. What can you tell us about medical tourism? Well, Colombia's particular strengths in medical tourism, and what are your expectations for Colombia and the medical tourism after the pandemic, whenever the pandemic, subsides?
Yeah, it's really an important topic, and a topic that is in our priorities as a country. Let me again, I like to share numbers and figures because that gives a little bit of specifics to the topics that I want to mention. We have a population close to 50 million people in Colombia, and as I mentioned, we have 96% coverage. That means that we have a very well-developed healthcare system with really good, experienced professionals. And so this is the basic. We internally, we have the critical mass, and we have the people, and we have the experience. On the other side, we Colombians and obviously our professionals in the sector, we are really warm, we are really friendly. That makes international patients feel really comfortable in the recovery process, and it improves their experience. So it's not just a matter of the fee that we provide, it's also the environment that is around that. We on the other side have excellent climatic conditions all year long. So it doesn't matter if you go in December or in August, you can find more or less the same climate conditions. The connectivity, for example, with the US is fabulous. We could almost have a red carpet type of situation at the airports. We have availability of hotels. We have the recovery centers. They're very close to hospitals. The hotels and hospitals are very closed. You can eat well, outstanding gastronomic, and obviously if you want to have the time and the willingness to have some touristic experiences. So these are the main characteristics of what we have as Colombias and as an emerging medical destination for the region. So quality on the pure services plus a very good environment. And additionally, we lately in December 2020, there was a law, the law 2068, that was enacted by the Congress, which aimed to stimulate this type of tourism. So it's key and it's important for us. And on the other side, in the pandemic, we made some adjustments on this topic. Just to share with you, Colombia was the first country in Latin America to adopt something that we call the Tourism Biosafety Seal. This is a certified check-in created by the Ministry of Trade, Industry, and Tourism, but it's very important. It's endorsed by the WTO. So it makes Colombia a medical destination, again, good services, good environment, and also safe. So that's what I want to share with you. On top of that, the country is moving forward with the pandemic. We already have close to 1/3 of the population, at least with one of the 2 shots of the vaccination, and we have like 1/4 of the population already with a scheme completed. So it's worth to consider, and I think that we're moving forward. It's a very good destination. And this is the strengths that I would like to share with you regarding what we have to say regarding to medical tourism.
It sounds fantastic. I'm sold as a tourist. The way you describe it, the way you tell Colombia's story, it's clearly multifaceted. It offers a lot, not just in terms of the provision of medical services, but also the tourism generally. And I suppose on that note, which are the key medical tourism destinations in the country? I mean, I guess they're Bogota and Cartagena.
We have for medical tourism, we have several centers that are certified already. I would say that Bogota obviously is one of them. The other one is in Valle del Cauca in Cali. The other one is in Bucaramanga and Medellin. I would highlight those 4 regions. Interesting.
So you mentioned Medellin, and I was going to bring that up in a conversation as well. So now we're going to shift it away from medical travel to another one of my favorite topics, which is technology. And of course, a pandemic has spurred a lot of growth investments in the health tech space. So I've got another data point here, which is around one Doc3, so a telemedicine company, going from 2,500 consultations per month to 35,000 consultations per month. I mean, that's a huge, I don't even know what that is in terms of a percentage difference, but it's enormous. And that was from February to December 2020. So in the space of some 11 months, it's really grown, and it's raised $3 million. So that's just one example, an incredible example. What can you tell us about Colombia's startup strengths in the area of health tech?
Yes, there are many topics to cover here on this site. Just let me share you the additional numbers. By June, so a couple of months ago, iDoc already registered 59,000 consultations, up from the 35,000 that were in December. So it continues to grow. It's been growing exponentially. And it's not just the product that it's offering, but it's also not just the platform, but it's also that they provide good quality service. They own their medical team, which guarantees a really quality on the service. So I think that this is one of the, and I already mentioned that, of the characteristics of Colombian companies and us as Colombians, the quality of the goods and services. It's also important to mention that these companies look to have impact in their communities they serve. So they raise and take the talent from the environment. So it's also creating a positive loop in terms of adding to the country. The IT in general, the software sector in general, is one of the also biggest strengths in the companies. And the people is very important. We have a real skilled labor force and at very competitive costs. And as a matter of fact, we are to let you know, we are the third most qualified workforce in Latin America and the first in terms of growing. So there's movement on IT, there's a movement on technology, and just to share you some numbers, Colombia's exports have been growing. It's growing like 200% a year. So we're selling very, very fast to new customers. And the national government and us as ProColombia see this as a very promising area. We see this as a potential. And what we see is the companies that use technology for the health sector are doing their job in order to contribute to the sector. So it's moving, and there are opportunities, there are companies, and if we see just that the investors, the investors they have, as I already mentioned, the cost, the free trade zones, the quality. So everything is lined up in order to make Colombia a really good destination and a leader on this topic.
I think it sounds incredible. And what I wanted to mention also, and for me, this is one of Colombia's most exciting, stories, I guess, or international stories. But it's the attraction of Medellin in particular as a startup hub. So it's become a point of reference almost, and it's not just appealing to, I guess, big tech companies and startups, but also digital nomads, which is the astonishing thing. And I guess, that's not happening now because of a pandemic. So international travel has been impacted, obviously. But I can see post-pandemic how it's just going to draw so many international travelers who will be working as freelancers from Medellin. But what can you tell us about the city? So it's emerged as a tech hub, a startup hub, with strong international recognition now in recent years. What does it offer in particular to healthcare or the health tech community? And where do you see Medellin, in the next 5 years, I guess, as a city?
Yeah, it's a very important question, because you don't only need to have the fundamentals, you have to have the engine to make them align and move in one direction. There's something that Medellin has done very well. Medellin really has a very, very, very strong ecosystem to offer. The city has teamed with the regional government, with universities, with companies. So government, education sector, and private sector moving together in one direction. As a result, Medellin will be declared as one of the only districts of science, technology, and innovation in Colombia. And they will be promoting and are promoting today and giving incentives to foreign companies that are interested to invest in the city. They also work on connecting these companies with the world. So that environment helps not just to make the companies go there and work there, but also to be able to connect outside and to promote Colombian outside. And in the medical and the healthcare sector, also Medellin counts with a really strong health institutions, with healthcare institutions that are really recognized not only in Colombia but internationally. So these sectors, technology and health together, plus government and education and private sector, are making Medellin booming in terms of what they have to offer and a destination. This has been backed up by a backbone, which is Ruta N, that for almost 12 years they have helped the promotion of the city, trying to move Medellin to move from a mainstream industrial city to a smart city center of knowledge-based services. And it's working. And what I see in the future, I see this trend continuing and strengthening. I've been very lucky to be able to visit here in the US, different cities where in areas in Texas, in California, in Atlanta, here in Florida, where they really think about Colombia, they really think about Medellin as a place to be. And it's happening today. So future, I look at very, very, very positive, and I think Medellin will continue in this direction.
So it's very much a city of the future. That's how I see it. And, it's very exciting to read about Medellin in international media, in unlikely publications, like Monocle, for instance. So it's a great story. What about wider Colombia? So what other initiatives are planned in healthcare by the governments of Colombia? What are they doing in healthcare or prioritizing in healthcare?
Well, there are different things that we are doing today. And one of them is, obviously, we are actively looking to attract a more foreign direct investment, and on one side infrastructure, as well as in technologies that will impact these health products and services that we are offering. Let me give you some examples. Not only Colombia for Colombia, but also Colombia going out. So we have a currently whole range of different goods to supply for the health sector. We have medical supply companies that have become a really important developing market for both local and international customers. And this industry has been growing throughout the years. And with the help of technology, it has become a large market for all medical supply stores around the world. And we will keep consolidating this. So the US market is a key ally for this. We're working heavily here in the US in order to be able to take advantage of what Colombia has to offer to the sector. We see a lot of potential on the digital health revolution. Obviously, telemedicine is something that is key, and we're looking forward to consolidate these opportunities. Let's say that we are really positioning Colombia as a top destination for medical tourism, for medical provider, to be a medical provider. And we are expecting both companies and patients to see Colombia as a place with infinite opportunities for businesses and for tourism in the country. So we continue the path. We started it, we are developing it, and we are sure it's going to be more robust in the short-term future.
Yeah, no, that definitely makes a lot of sense. So, of course, we're talking a lot about the Colombian market. So let's shift our attention towards international markets. When we look at collaborations and investments and so forth, are there any particular, case studies, I guess, in the United States? So what kind of collaborations are there between Colombian healthcare companies and their counterparts in the US?
Yeah, I'm really proud of what is happening here. I had the opportunity a few weeks ago to visit one of the investments here in the US from Colombian companies, and it's one example, for example, of a very well-established healthcare provider in Colombia, which is called Sanitas International, which is part of a Caralty group, which is very well positioned in Colombia. And they have been investing here for close to 7 years. Today, they have here in the US 60 care centers, which are located in Florida, in Texas, in Tennessee, in Connecticut, in New Jersey. They bought an hospital and they plan to buy more. So they're really innovating here in terms of the type of services provided and the quality of the services. So this is one example. This company growing, they started 7 years ago, as I mentioned, and now have hospitals, clinics, and care centers. And on the other side, this is one example. Another example is related with the healthcare business with BPO. I don't know if you know that, but today in Colombia, we have more than 600,000 employees in the BPO sector. And that's from call centers to knowledge base to shared services center. And in the healthcare sector is not the exception. We are expanding with the BPO and the technology sectors here in the US, obviously with the proper industry certifications that really guarantee compliance, but we are moving on that second direction. And last but not least, I already mentioned that we have some international accredited health providers. There are 5 in Colombia, the Joint Commission International, that are working here in the US in order to promote them to go to Colombia to receive healthcare services to US citizens or residents. So coming here with clinics, hospitals, and care centers, supporting the BPO and technology, having the certifications in order to be able to receive the qualified service that is required. These are 3 things that I would like to share with you regarding to Colombia expanding into the US market.
Okay, that sounds pretty exciting. And I guess on a similar note, and this is actually my last question because we're running out of time, unfortunately, but like I said at the beginning, you'll be participating at FIME this year in Miami, and you'll be joined by 5 healthcare companies. What can you tell us about your upcoming participation? Unfortunately, I can't be there in person, despite my best efforts. Next year, maybe. So, what can you tell us about FIME and what are you most looking forward to achieving from FIME this year?
Yeah, we're really thrilled about what is happening here this year in FIME. We have, as you already mentioned, 5 companies that are participating in the Innovation Technology Pavilion. Here, I'm based in Miami, so I'm going to go there to the Miami Beach Convention Center. And these companies are called, on one side, Alternova, Arcangel, Sanum, BIS Contact, and iDoc3. They offer customer care centers. They offer therapy platforms that help improve mental health, telemedicine, interactive apps for monitoring patients, among other services and solutions. This is an example of what's happening in Colombia, and we are making a statement here. Colombia is becoming a leading provider in health services, and we are moving forward offering advanced technology software and services for this and other sectors. So this is an example of what Colombia is doing, and what we expect from these companies to show what Colombia is able to offer, the impact that they can have, and the benefits that the sector can. We are really, as I already mentioned, thrilled to be represented by them here in FIME.
Okay, great. Thank you very much for that. And actually, I just thought of one final question. I suppose it's a very general question, but what do you see healthcare generally over the next 5 years? I mean, there's so much change around us at the moment, so many technologies. It's difficult to keep up. What's your perspective on all of this?
Well, I think pandemic has challenged us in many ways, and everything. When you have a challenge, you have opportunities. And I think that, for example, what we're doing today, having this conversation virtually, you sitting in Dubai, I'm sitting here in Miami. Before pandemic, probably was not as normal as it is today. Telemedicine, for example, was not really as normal as it should be. We already talked about telemedicine as the way to go. The pandemic helped us doing that. And the examples that I give you about the number, what iDoc3 is doing in Colombia and growing exponentially, means that I think that this sector, obviously, like the world is changing forever. And I think it will take the best of both sides of the situation. I don't think we will come back to how it was before. Obviously, I don't think it's going to be fully virtual, like we are forced to do it today mainly. But it's going to be a different composition that will allow us to have more quick access, more pertinent access, democratize some way medicine, and to be able to free the time for doctors and specialists to be one-on-one with the patients when they really need to be. So I think it's a positive thing. It will obviously continue the positive loop in terms of new developments, but I see a bright future. I think this pace of change will be positive for all of us as patients.
Yeah, I totally agree with that, and that's a fantastic answer. So thank you very much for that, and thank you very much for taking part in this conversation. So I hope you have a really great experience at FIME. I'm pretty jealous. I really want to be there, and you've inspired me, and hopefully anyone watching this, you've inspired me with Colombia's story, and hopefully one day I'll be able to visit myself. Maybe not as a patient, but as a tourist. So
you're more than welcome to visit us.
Thank you, Ricardo. Okay, well, enjoy the rest of your day.
Okay, thank you so much, and thank you for the time and for inviting us, and I hope we share a little bit of what Colombia has to offer.
Super. Okay, take care now. Bye.
Okay, bye-bye.
Great, thank you. We'll just end the broadcast, and I'll send you the video as soon as I can. I don't think it needs many edits. I think it went really well. So there were one or two kind of technical glitches, but I think that's fine. So hopefully we'll publish this on Monday. So thank you very much again.
Okay, no, thank you, Matt, and hope it goes well, and wish you the best. And for you, it's like 2-3 p.m.
It's 5 p.m. now, so I'm just looking forward to
already. Okay,
yeah,
thank you for taking the time at the end of the Friday.
and Friday is Friday's our weekend, so but I still got another. I'm actually talking to Arcangel tomorrow night, so
okay,
in Spanish. So wish me luck, and and I hope you have a great time in Egypt. I've not been myself, but I've heard good things about it. So
okay, let's hope so.
Okay, bye for now.
Okay, bye.
Cheers, bye.